Take two. Right. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed on the Xbox Series X. Firstly, I want to say a massive thank you to Terminals, and also a massive thank you to Illphonic for being able to review Ghostbusters. I'm a massive fan. I was a kid born in the 80s growing up, and I absolutely loved the Real Ghostbusters cartoon, the movies. I had the toys, the packs, the costumes. I absolutely love it. So being able to review another Ghostbuster game definitely got my buzz going. We have a whole page of notes to go through, including our usual breakdown criteria that we go through. Obviously, this is just my opinion at the end of the day. We did put a solid 9 to 10 hours throughout the whole game. I definitely sunk my teeth into it quite a bit. Did a bit of offline as well, but the majority of it was done purely live streamed on trovo.live. And let's crack on with it. So the very first thing that we like to look at, the choice of music used, audio effects, and voice acting. So first of all, the choice of music used. It's Ghostbusters. It's Ghostbusters. They tend to have fantastic soundtracks, and I vibed all of it, especially the main intro where it kicked in the song. It got me excited. It got me pumped. I couldn't wait to crack on with the review, because everything was just perfect at the very, very get-go. So I can't fault the soundtrack in any way, shape, or form. I can't. The audio effects as well. Something that will always get me very, very excited is the sound effects of the proton pack, the charging up of the proton laser and how it then diffuses. All of that, again, goosebumps. I absolutely loved it. It was so perfect on my side. It was great. It was absolutely great. But adding to the sound effects, obviously I played both as the Ghostbuster and as the Ghost. So pretty much all the sound effects, from the gooey slime, the abilities, the voice acting was on point for me as well. But what I do have to say about the voice acting for some of the survivors is there is a lot of repetition in the dialogue, and I felt that they could have made more sound verses for the survivors themselves. Especially for me, I went round a lot of the time calming civilians down, and she would say, well, my character was a she would say the same line pretty much over and over and over and over and over again. So I felt that they could have done a bit better with adding a bigger range of calming dialogues with the Ghostbusters. That's my one fault there in my mind. I just think it could have been better. It could have been a bigger range itself. Yes, there is the original voice acting for Dan, Ray. I love, like I said, I love all the Ghostbusters. Obviously, we're not going to have Egon, but maybe a different voice actor could have done him. Peter Venkman, for some reason, isn't in the game, and I loved him in the cartoon and also in the movies. But Ray and Winston do make an appearance, and the voice acting is it's good. It's really good. It works. It does a great job, and I can't fault it in any way. Graphics, we don't take graphics into consideration when it comes to knocking points off or adding points off in any review, because yes, a game could look absolutely stunning, but it could be a bad game, or it could be terrible gameplay, a great gameplay and really bad graphics. But the graphics that's used in this game, the colors are so gorgeous and beautifully popping. I stream all my stuff. I run it all through 4K 60 FPS. The lighting effects in this game are stunning. The colors, the color palette that they use for not only the customizing of the Ghostbusters, but also the customizing of the ghosts. Absolutely vibrant neon, very neon based and very gorgeous coloring. Absolutely adore it. I can't fault the graphics in any way. I didn't see any issues with it, and it worked very, very, very well for me. The weather effects, the game doesn't really utilize like a seasonal weather effect system like spring, summer, autumn, winter, rain, hail, snow and stuff like that. So there's not really a lot to talk about, but the atmospheric, like the fogginess and the wind and all that, that's within the actual game itself, within the buildings that you're in. It looks great. It looks fantastic, but it doesn't really utilize a big weather effect system. Character model design, any glitches and bugs within the designs. The character model design is very basic. They don't go too advanced in the character customization screen. There's only a small handful of facials that you can pick. You can design obviously how big you want your Ghostbuster or how thin, high, tall and all that. There is obviously a lot of cosmetic designs, a lot of shirts, only a few trousers that you can choose from. But a lot of it is basically in the colors. You can choose which colors that you want for your clothing, and the same thing on the ghosts itself. But in terms of making your Ghostbuster look as different and as unique as possible, it is a bit hard because the range of customization options is not very vast. They could add some later items down the line and that would be absolutely wicked, like maybe a Slimer hat, marshmallow shirts and stuff like that. Just lots of Easter egg references from the movies or maybe the cartoons. I think that would be really cool. So some extra DLC options further down the line, I think that would be really ace and fantastic. So please do add that, because then if we can make our Ghostbuster look as unique as possible, it makes us connect better to the character that we're playing as, because, you know, we feel like it's us running around as the Ghostbuster. Gameplay and mechanics. The gameplay is, on my end, it was extremely smooth in 60 FPS, 4K. It ran great on my Series X. It looked, like I said, it looked absolutely phenomenal. The gameplay mechanics, first person, very different. You know, we could have had the other Ghostbuster game that we really thoroughly enjoyed was third person. So this one is definitely different. First person did work extremely well. It felt great on the controller. It didn't feel stiff at all. The movement was very smooth. I can't fault anything in regards to how it will move. I was expecting it to be very slow and sluggish, and the turning might have been really complex. Not complex, heavy, and it didn't feel like that at all. And I was very surprised at how smooth it actually ran. It is a 4v1 scenario, very similar to like the Dead by Daylight style, 4 survivors, 1 killer, or in this instance, 4 Ghostbusters and 1 ghost. And the objective in the game pretty much is the ghost. They don't have to, but they can move their rifts. They have to protect those rifts and stop them from being destroyed by the Ghostbusters. Every time they get trapped, they lose one of those rifts. They can detonate the rifts if they wish to, but that's a bold move to make. And once the Ghostbusters have closed all rifts and captured you as the ghost, it's game over. That's pretty much it. You lose, and the Ghostbusters win. The objective for the ghost is to basically get through the timer of the mission, scare as many people, as many civilians as possible to get them to flee to build up your points. You can also slime the Ghostbusters and attack them head on if you're feeling bold. There is a small variety of ghosts that you can choose from, all ranging from different abilities and different looks. Again, a lot of it does boil down to the color palette that they use. You can go through a lot of different colors for those ghosts, and each ghost that you go through, as I said, has its own unique abilities and style of gameplay. I found my favorite pretty quick. I was able to snipe slime across the map and knock the Ghostbusters on their ass. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I did get Slimer unlocked. I had to play as Slimer. But yes, there is a good basic range of ghosts, and again, it would be nice to see an increase in that throughout the DLC if they do plan on doing that, and I hope they do. Maybe do a Reddit forum where they ask, you know, what style of ghosts would you like to see, or get some ideas from the community, and maybe import some community ghosts into the game. I think that might be a cool idea. Just an idea. But the gameplay is very, very smooth. It works very, very, very well. I do love returning to the fire station and going around exploring a bit more. I do wish there were more Easter eggs though. I really do. It was a good opportunity to sneak some Easter eggs into this game, and I really didn't. I looked really hard. I looked everywhere around the fire station. I mean, the car is so gorgeous to look at, and they only use it in one cutscene in the game, and that to me is a big disappointment, because the car is one of the biggest iconic items within the Ghostbusters universe. You got the proton packs, you got the car, you got Slimer, Marshmallow Man, and it would have been nice to have that car being utilized a little bit more, even if you used it in cutscenes for when the lobbies are loading. But the lobby speed, we did a lot of online matches, and the lobby speed was very stable and very quick, and I have to give you guys props. Well done on that. It worked very, very, very quickly. The estimated wait time was in seconds, and that's great. I mean, the game just came out, but that's still great. Replayability and game difficulty. This game has a lot of replayability in it, because as you play the game, you level up your Ghostbuster, you also level up your ghost. You can customize your proton pack, your PK scanner, the trap. You can also have throwables that you can also use throughout your hunting experience. But yes, there is quite a bit of replayability in this game. If you're going for the achievements as well, I ended at 21 to 22 achievements out of 51 total. Obviously, the more you play, the more experience you build up, the more items that you unlock, the more customizing that you unlock, and the more color palettes that you unlock as well. Really, 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 really cool. You also get lots of little fun accessories to have on your Ghostbuster, like hats, gloves, glasses, and stuff like that. So it does add even more to the character customization, but I just think it could do just a bit more, just a little bit more than what it gave us. Game difficulty, I guess it boils down to how good the Ghostbusters are in your team and how good the ghost is. If you're paired up with brand new players and the ghost is a pro level ghost, then you're in trouble. You really, really, really are. And I noticed that through quite a lot of the games, the matches that we played together, we got paired up with some very high tier players at one point, and then some very low tier players at some point. So I don't see them having a ranking system or a lobby system that puts players of average level with each other. Maybe they can't do that, or maybe they couldn't do that. But I just hit level 30, and I was paired up with someone who was like level 54. The ghost was in their 60s. And then the next game, we did end up having two baby players, level 2 and 3, when we were above 30 and beyond, and they were running around trying to figure out how to play the game, which was cute. So I don't think there's any skill-based matchmaking system in play. I don't think that's the case. Maybe it could have utilized that, but at the same time, you will get used to this game very fast. It did not take me long to not only master the game mechanics, but also master the ghost mechanics too. And after that, I just kept having fun all the way throughout my review time with the game. So game difficulty, it's just based on who you're paired with. That's it. Try to play this game with friends, because having your friends on microphone when they're getting slimed is the funniest thing you can have. It is definitely a game that you want to play with your friends. 100% hands down. Luckily, I did have someone who played with me as well, because I wanted to experiment with the online playing, and I'm grateful. So try to play it with friends if you possibly can do. It will, make the experience a million times better. Any game customization and stats building? We talked about what you could do with the Ghostbusters themselves. We talked about what you could do with the ghosts themselves as well. As I said, as you progress through your level, you unlock more add-ons for both the Ghostbusters and the ghosts. Your proton pack can be modified in a great way to have certain stats to improve certain features, but with some of the attachments that you get for a Ghostbuster, it will be a positive in some areas and a negative in some areas, so you can really stack a certain build that you're going for. You could be a pro ghost hunter, you could be a pro rift finder, there's a level of being able to play as you want, and I really enjoy that. So I thought that was a very nice touch within the game itself. Stats building though, I mean, you can't stat your character for like health, defense. This is not like an RPG, so that's not really something that we can talk about on that aspect of it. Story, if applicable, the story is super basic, like very basic. It's nothing to blow your socks off, and to be fair, I was definitely expecting more, especially after I played the Ghostbusters game that was launched on the Xbox. I'm pretty sure it's the Xbox 360. That had an incredible story, and that was based off the movies as well. And I was really hoping for a single player campaign, but we didn't get it. Obviously I can't knock points off because it didn't really have a story campaign with it. It was just little mini story dialogues that you got through. You got through certain dialogue acts until you reach the very end. But there is definitely a weakness within the acts, the story, if they want to call it a story. It was very weak. Your core time will be spent online playing with your friends, or online playing with randoms running around being the Ghostbusters or the ghosts. That's where all your time is going to be put into. So the story is weak in my opinion. Online co-op modes, features and stability. As I said, very Dead by Daylight like. 4 Ghostbusters, 1 ghost. That's it. That's pretty much it. The stability within the game itself, I didn't experience any issues on my side. I didn't get any disconnections. I didn't get any lag. I didn't get any frame drops. I didn't get any ping issues. It worked extremely well for me. I did, however, get feedback from Panda, who was my player number 2 online, who was playing on the Xbox One S, not the Series S, the old white console, who broke the game quite hard. They definitely broke the game quite heavily. Lots of frame drops on her side, lots of stability problems on her side. I know her console's very old and very worn in, so I can't really say whether or not that's a thing within the game on that console, or if it's her console that's causing the problems. But on my side, I didn't experience any issues myself. So I can't say if it's console related or if it's just her console. I don't know, because this is optimized for this Series S and the X, and like I said, it looks absolutely stunning. It really does. So it might not run better on older consoles. That could be the thing. Or her console might be dying. Could be. Could be. But maybe some more modes later throughout the year, maybe done as a DLC. I do love a lot of this game and how it's portrayed. If you're a big fan of prop hunt in Call of Duty, you can have a laugh with this too, because you can, the ghost can also go into items and basically run around the map as that item while the Ghostbusters are chasing them, and it's so funny. It's absolutely hilarious to see like a mop and bucket running around chasing after a Ghostbuster, or a Ghostbuster chasing after a handbag. So they could probably do some more modes throughout the game. something to add on to it as well, something extra, I think that'd be really, really, really cool. There's only I think it's 5 maps in total. Each map is completely different from the last, which is great. But there were no doomy, gloomy, dark, spooky maps, which I think would have been amazing to have. Absolutely incredible if we could have had some spooky haunted mansion maps where a lot of the lights are out. It will not only make the ghosts pop way more vibrantly as well. It looks so beautiful. But it does add that little bit of horror aspect to the game as well, and spook aspect to the game as well. So if they do any maps, could they utilize some horror? Because I would love that. I really, really, really would. The purchase price versus digital price and value of content. Now, the game was gifted to me, but I can't allow that to reflect my input on the game. The purchase price is $33.49 for digital. And the physical, I'm able to get it for $32.85. The game was launched on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Windows. On Xbox Series X, the file size is 12 gig. So not that big at all, to be fair. Quite a baby-sized game for what the game has to offer as well. It's quite a baby-sized game. Do I feel that the value of content is there for $33.50? Yes. Yeah. You're yeah. You're right on the tippity tip. If you want my honest pricing for what you're playing as and what you've got to offer on the table, $29.99. I'd say it would be the maximum price. $29.99. Perfect price for this game. Nothing higher than that. But that is my opinion. It would have been great if this game could have landed on Game Pass, because the player base would have been massively multiplied. And there currently is no microtransactions in the game, thank God. But if you want to do DLC packs, where you do like DLC 1, 2, 3, 4, the first pack could be a cosmetic pack, second pack, extra characters, extra ghosts, extra maps, I would definitely welcome that. Definitely welcome that with the amount of fun that I had in this game, and with the base game pricing being £33.50. I would. They could have sold it as a £50 game. They could have sold it as a £60 game, but they didn't at the end of the day. So I do feel the pricing is just on the tip of acceptable. Just on the tip. But $29.99 would have been the nice ball point for me, in my opinion. Any additional notes taken? That's where we look at all of this. We already talked about the size of the game, the pricing, the consoles, the publishers, the developers, and what the game has to offer. The game is always online. It's basically the minute that you open up your lobby, the minute that you go into the fire station, that is a connected lobby. Because within the first 10-15 minutes while I was creating my character, I got disconnected from the lobby and had to reload the game, reload back into it again. I thought I lost all my character customization, but I didn't, thank God. Game hard locked once. It was very early in, but we did have the game completely soft lock on us, or hard lock on it. It froze. The whole game froze. It wouldn't respond to any of my inputs whatsoever. It didn't crash the console. The game was just completely frozen. So I had to shut the game down completely and reboot the game, and then I had no problems from that point onwards. Single player with bots. Is there an option or a possible option to remove bots? I don't think that there'll ever be an option for that, but the bots I found were very OP. When I was learning how to play the game, they were already destroying the rifts super fast. The AI intelligence is actually pretty good in this game. It truly is. So when you're new and you're learning and you're walking around with your PK meter trying to scan things, they're already cracking on with the job and dealing with the Ghostbuster, the ghost, and also dealing with the rifts, which is awesome. But some of the matches were like 2-3 minutes long. It was so quick because the bots were just too good. Maybe scale them down a little bit. Just a little bit, just so the player gets a bit more time. We already talked about the support dialogues being very limited. Could have utilized the car in some more cutscenes. That would have been really nice. I do like the fact that we can re-watch the narrative cutscenes as well. I do like that. It's a nice little touch to it. The collectibles being the golden clippings that you can find around each map, and also the fungus that you can collect. We did actually manage to 100% that, and I'm really, really, really happy. But there are collectibles that you can do, that you can find within the game itself, and there's also little side missions that you can do as well to earn even more experience throughout the game as more cosmetics. You'll find them, one of them being downstairs on the left hand side where the stairs are, and then one upstairs on the computer where you can basically accept contracts and stuff to earn even more throughout the game itself. I couldn't figure out what the point was in emptying traps. I don't know if that was just a little gimmick, but I think they could have turned that into a mini game. I really do. I think they could have turned that into a little fun mini game, and that could have, you know, added some more content to the game. Just my opinion. Pitch black, yeah, I already talked about dark maps. The civilians running away. Some of them are super fast. Some of them knocked me on my butt a few times as well, but damn, I tried catching one of them. And nope, there was no catching one of these civilians I was chasing after. They were out that door super quick. That made me laugh. Pretty hard. Already done that. Already spoke about that. No ranking system in play. Maybe they could have done like a ranking system. Like you start off as bronze, work your way up to silver, then gold. I don't know. Maybe. Just, it's not going to knock points off the review. It's just an idea. But there was one other thing. No, that's actually it. A few things I rubbed out because I thought it didn't have it, but later I found out that it did. But yeah, that's pretty much... Oh, could there... I don't know, again, if it's possible, but I don't like when you are done playing a game. We wanted to return to lobby so we can go... look at all the things that we had unlocked with the ghosts and also the Ghostbusters, but there was no option. It was just return straight to main menu. It would be nice to have another option there saying just return to lobby, so it takes the people that's in your party back with you, so you can go straight to the customizing of your things and then go straight back into games. It's even faster. I don't get why that's not a thing. I'll be completely honest. I don't get why that's not a thing, but yeah, the game needs it. In my opinion, the game needs it. So, after all that talking, which is a lot, I'm breaking down exactly how I would do it with any other game. I'm trying to be as fair as I possibly can do. I am. What I've had a score in my mind for a little bit. I have. And I've also written it down as well. And I'm torn between this scoring and then being a bit more uppity about it. The story mode is definitely a point deductor for me because it didn't have enough. It really did not have enough story content in the story. And they could have, I think with a really nice written story, or even a single player campaign, they could have added so much content in this review, so much content in the game itself. It would have been phenomenal. It's purely just an online multiplayer mode only, really, with a very, very tiny bit of narrative side story, which is not really a story though. But the lack in story definitely is a point deductor for me. It definitely is. With the level of customizing options as well not being as strong as it possibly can be, it's not a heavy point deductor, but it would have been nice to have a bigger... I mean, I'm not talking about having Code Vein's level of customization or Dark Souls level of customization, but it was very bare. It was bare, in my opinion. It was. And it could have done a bit more with that. 5 base maps is again, it's not that they could have done more on that in my honest eyes. I had so much bloody fun with this. I really did. And because of the level of fun that I got from this game, and that I am hoping I get to play with it with a big friends group as well, I am more than happy scoring this review a positive 8 out of 10. That's my opinion. This is all me. I'm no influence whatsoever. This is just what I think. But I think they did a incredible job with what they had to offer, but I think they could have done a bit more to push the scoring up even more. But thank you again for watching this review. Put all your comments down in the YouTube video down below. Give it a like if you don't mind, if you haven't already subscribed. I am live, like I said, over on trovo.live/AtticPlays whenever I do my review breakdowns. Then I do the recordings and then upload them on YouTube. So yeah, thank you very much for watching the review, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.